The National Appliance Warehouse team has the expertise to properly deliver and install your stunning new appliances.
The Labor Day mega sale starts now at National Appliance Warehouse. Purchase a qualifying Sub-Zero Wolf and Cove appliance package and choose 3 years of additional warranty or a rebate up to $2,500. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navient's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Enhance your home's curb appeal with new doors and windows from Emmons Roofing and Siding.
Our high-quality products offer style, security, and energy efficiency.
And you can choose from a wide selection of styles and finishes from major brands like Anderson or Provia.
Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us online at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
As fall approaches, you have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, sporting events, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, no matter what you're prepping for, you can prioritize your family's health and make a game plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor or pharmacist to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Hey, Joe DeCamry here. When you've got kids going back to school, life can feel like it's always on the go, go, go. That's why Tasty Cake has go-to snacks for everyone in your family. Whether it's a fluffy crimpet with smooth icing, a creamy peanut butter candy cake, or a sweet cinnamony pecan swirl, Tasty Cake has something unique for everyone. When it's back to school, go for what they love, Tasty Cake. Except no substitutes.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
With every ounce of my blood, with every breath in my lungs, won't stop until I'm phenomenal. However long it takes, I'll go to whatever lengths. It's gonna make me a monster though, but I'm never same. 'Cause I'm born to be unstoppable, unpoppable thought bubbles, untoppable thoughts from the juggernaut that'll stomp you in the verse. Obstacles I'm drawn to them when they're going got off some of what I done thought was the worst. No sissy would've taught you how to persevere. There ain't no situation that you ever had to respond to that's adverse. Messiest thing you've ever gone through is your purse. Yeah, I don't cry like hell, and I might as well hang it up like a shell. Gotta keep wrong with it evolve, 'cause you can keep throwing shit at the wall, but you're gonna find that nothing's gonna stick until you apply yourself. Time to slip in that zone till I find myself inside the realm of the unknown and boldly go in the waters where nobody else is going before.
Pennsylvania, how are you guys? This is Kathy Barnette. Hey, Delaware, New Jersey, how y'all doing? I am flying solo for a little bit right now. This is so you right now, but you guys can hear me, and I am so excited about what we're going to be talking about today. I am so sure many of you watched that, I guess you can call it an interview, Kamala Harris' first interview that she deigned to share with us. I don't know. It feels very Stalin-esque. It feels very communist-esque, right? Where you have these leaders who don't want to come and talk to the people, right? It's not the democracy that Democrats are always saying they're trying to protect and secure. It felt very much like, just kind of at arm's length. It was pre-recorded. I haven't seen the entire interview. They said it was 27 minutes. They've broken it out on YouTube in like 10-minute or like 10 or 8-minute blocks. And so you don't, so it's very sanitized. You don't really get to, if you're a new person coming to, the stage. And many of these Democrat voters act real brand new. Prior to the debate, that abysmal debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, every Democrat thought Joe Biden was in perfect health and that he was cognitively sound. And when people like myself and many of you say, there's something wrong with Joe. Joe's not right. He's not working with a full toolbox. All the lights aren't on in Joe. They looked at us and said, you're just lying. You're just making this up. You're a radical. You're far right. They labeled us. They, did all of that kind of stuff. And then magically after the debate, and really, I called my uncle and I was like, okay, clearly, uncle, you see what I'm talking about. He's black. He's a Democrat. No surprise there. And he started off with, no, Joe Biden is awesome and Donald Trump raped women, all that foolishness, right? And then it wasn't until the CNN host and all the other Democrats started saying, okay, we got to get rid of him. It wasn't until my uncle was told that there's something wrong with Joe and Joe needs to leave. It wasn't until he was told that there was something wrong with Joe Biden did my uncle and many other Democrat voters begin to say, yeah, there is something wrong with Joe, right? The Democrat Party, their voters, God bless them, right? I'm black, as most of you know. Please share that with one of your white liberal friends because they're on my Twitter page calling me a racist. So dumb. But nonetheless, so it should come as no surprise as a black person that I grew up in a household full of Democrats. Now, back then, Democrats weren't also equivalent to, being morally compromised, deaf, dumb, and stupid. They were just Democrats, right? And I, growing up in the Deep South, my family made sure we understood the history of the Deep South. So I was very aware of the surroundings and the environment and the politics and the history of where I grew up. Many of you know the home that I often talk about, growing up on a pig farm in a home with no insulation, no running water, an outhouse in the back, a well on the side. That same house is the house that my great-great-great-grandma Rhoda lived in, and my grandma Rhoda was a slave. So I, too, have the blood of slaves coursing through my veins, so I think it's real rich when these typically rich white liberals try to call me a racist. But nonetheless, I too, everybody else was voting Democrat. I too, when I first started voting, I voted Democrat. No surprise there. I'm black, and most of us, it's a 95 to 97% voting rate Democrat. So the odds were also in my favor that I too would vote Democrat. And I thought it was so interesting because when it was my turn to vote, I was very excited. I did my research on the different candidates that I would be voting for. And I remember feeling so informed and yet walked right into the booth and just voted Democrat all the way down. No thought about it, right? And you don't even understand sometimes just how, you like in the recesses of your mind, you're being motivated to behave and think a certain way. And I thought I was very informed about all the issues. Now, in hindsight, I realize not so much. And, eventually, before I graduated from college, I began to see things a little bit differently. I began to really compare and contrast what Democrats were saying they were going to do for predominantly Black communities, which I lived in, versus what they actually did and how predominantly Black communities were not thriving. So I'm kind of comparing and contrasting. So I say all of that to say I'm around a lot of Democrats. I'm around a lot of Black people who are Democrats. And I tell you, even now, my uncle, I love all my family. We get along. We do drag out conversations about all of this. We're texting wars. We get together for family vacation. I'm the lone Republican or conservative. I'm not really a Republican, but the lone conservative. And they're just like, what happened to little Kathy Jean? Little Kathy, what happened to her? I say all of that to say these are good people. My family, they are good people. The men in my family, they are great men. The women in my family, they are amazing women. And so I don't believe that, that all Democrats are morally compromised. But I do see that they are followers and that they have been trained to not rigorously think beyond their emotions and beyond the narrative, beyond the agenda. And so when I'm talking to them, like we go at it, but in my family, we can go at it and still get up and go break bread together, right? So there's none of this foolishness. I don't understand. I guess I can understand to some degree where people are like, oh, I'm not going to talk about anything because my children aren't going to come home. I'll be like, deuces. You're not going to make me shut up. You're not going to make me not say what I want to say so that you can feel better about yourself. Like, that's bullying. That's not right. Like, why have you raised children like that is the question you should be asking yourself. And perhaps in your last moments of influence in their lives to try to teach them differently versus capitulating and bowing down. And I get it. You just want peace. You just want to see the grandkids. They're not going to bring the grandkids over. Again, you should be questioning, what did you do as a parent to raise such children to where they would not want their children to have a relationship with their grandparents? That's crazy to me. You should challenge that, not capitulate and bow down, because we're not winning anything. We're actually losing everything. You're losing everything. You're not winning anything by capitulating. So in my family, we talk about these things. Anyway, the point is, I'm around a lot of Democrats, good people, some of them. Certainly in my family, I can't speak to every Democrat, but certainly in my family, these are really great people, but just very sheepish. And it wasn't until they were told by CNN and MSNBC and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and all these other Democrats that there was something wrong with Joe Biden, did they realize, oh, there's something wrong with Joe Biden. Oh, my goodness. And so now they're being told Kamala Harris is brand spanking new. She flip-flopping, but no, it's not really flip-flopping. It's evolving. So now people can actually evolve versus when I was running in 2022, they went back 10 years, got some old tweets and said, this is exactly who you are today, Kathy. You can't evolve. You can't have new information. But this morning I woke up and listening to some of the talking heads on CNN, and they're like, she's evolving. No, she hasn't. She's the exact cackling Kamala, sometimes Black Harris. She's the exact same person. When the parts I could listen to, that they allowed us to listen to in her CNN interview. Every time she talked about the passage, it was like you can make that a drinking game. I swore she was going to say the passage of time, but she just kept saying, with the passage. And then she would cut it off and say, time, right? And I'm looking at the hand gesture. Just nothing is authentic about this woman. And I don't know if my family have the capacity. I don't know if most Democrats have the capacity to think for themselves and to see the farce that is in front of them. I just don't get it. I see it. I realize it. These are great people. I mean, great people, great fathers to their family. They've been amazing uncles to me. It's mostly my uncles. My aunts are more like, we love you, Kathy. We love you. But my uncles and I, yes, yes. We do some battling. Now, my cousins, some of them, they're younger than I am, and they are a part of this woke culture where they try to sever relationships. But the old guards, my uncles, I have great deference for them. And but yet, we battle on these ideas. And I'm the only one in the family who will battle with them. I'm the only one in the family who is an out of the closet Republican/conservative. So I am the only one, and I take that responsibility very seriously, and I think we all should. I'm going to give you guys the call-in number right now. If you're looking at me on YouTube, you see I don't have the headphones. I can't hear anything right now. Hopefully they will correct this. It feels very weird. I don't really hear myself right now. But I don't hear myself in my ear, kind of get used to all of that. But anyway, hopefully you guys can call in and I can take your call. The number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. We got a lot to talk about. Let me look at some of what you guys are saying on Twitter. What wasn't the morning show? Okay, no. Okay, maybe I need to, I know are saying they're leaving the Democrat plantation, all switched to independent. And I agree with that, Mango Mush, right? I mean, I guess there was a point when I was, really advocating for the Republican Party and telling people to, to jump off the Democrat plantation and come over here and join us over here in the Republican Party until I went through my 2022 race. I look behind the curtains of the Republican Party and like, wait a minute, hold up. And I started saying, listen, I did not leave the Democrat plantation in order to jump onto the Republican plantation. You don't tell me what to think or what to do or how to show up. I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to be an independent in my thinking. And yet, I'm not an independent because we live in a two-party nation, right? You're either Republican or Democrat if you actually want to affect change in the primary. And it's the primary election that is the most important election for Republicans. This is where we actually get good people, better people to run on our behalf in the general election. So it's really that primary election that is the most important. And I saw what those jokers did to me. I saw the lies. I saw the amalgamations. It was just crazy what the Republican Party did. And yet I believe because we're in a, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel and create some winning party, third party. Hopefully a third party, a viable third party will present itself sooner rather than later. But as of right now, for this 2024 election, and maybe even for the next one, it's Democrat or Republican who's going to win that election. And so as such, with that being my rubrics, with that being the environment in which I find myself in, I believe it is our responsibility within the Republican Party to perfect the Republican Party. We got a lot of old people who need to go somewhere and sit down and retire and get out. Okay, I cannot hear it, but I'm getting the signal to wrap it up. Listen, hopefully when I come back, I can take you guys' phone call. I want to hear your thoughts about this Kamala Harris interview. Kind of like an interview, 855-839-1210. See you guys on the other side.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
Labor Day signals that fall is fast approaching. Apple picking, fall leaves, and chilly nights are on the horizon. With Legacy Box, you can cozy up and watch something special this fall. Your family's home movies. Legacy Box is the simple, safe, all-inclusive solution for preserving your family's memories trapped on videotapes, film, even photos. After 10 years in business, Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer. They've helped over 1 million families relive their wedding days, babies' first steps, and family road trips. Just fill Legacy Box with your VHS tapes, film reels, or pictures. Legacy Box digitizes it all by hand right here in the USA, and then sends it back on a thumb drive or the cloud. Future-proof your recorded moments today so you can gather the family and begin the trip down memory lane. Plus, for a limited time, they're offering 55% off. Go to legacybox.com/value to get 55% off. That's legacybox.com/value.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. We have something a little different for you. Now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Trust me, I have NFL Sunday Ticket for YouTube TV. You get picture-in-picture, so you can watch multiple games. If you have a little skin in the game, it makes it that much more impressive. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg to download America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT, 21 and over, President PA. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after the free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Fantasy freaks and geeks, what's cracking? It's your boy James Coe, back with my brand new project, the Sleeper King Football Podcast. Look, I get it, okay? There's a lot of fantasy pods out there, but we're going to keep this one light, 15 to 20 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week, and man, we are going to pack it with all the info you need. Season-long, weekly projections, and of course, sleepers. Follow and listen to the Sleeper King Football Podcast on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Free speech lives here with Don Stensland, 10 till noon on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
I believe they got me hooked back up and I can hear. Oh, good morning, Pennsylvania. Good morning, New Jersey, Delaware. You are listening to the Dawn Stensland Show, and I am Kathy Barnette, in for my double good girlfriend, Dawn. I was looking at some of you guys' comments on YouTube. And Grania, I believe, are you listening in? Can you hear me? She said, Kathy, you couldn't be more wrong with my children. They were taught to vote, not who to vote for. 2 of them went to college. That's where the change happened, and they were influenced. I know. My son, he is 18. Last week, we took our RV and made a big family trip, packed it with a lot of family and a lot of things, and we headed off to Tennessee to take my son to college. We were very thoughtful. He scored very high with his ACT, had I think it was a 3.87 GPA. Could have gone anywhere he wanted to. I certainly was looking at Ivy League colleges. If you know what happened this year, however, you know, the Harvard, the Princeton, the Yale, the MIT, those were the colleges we were looking at. I'm like, oh, no. I am not sending my kids to these demons, right? Not right now, not yet. Maybe later. You know, we got some time. But we really delved into the university we were going to be sending my baby to. If you guys know, we homeschooled, which meant I left my career and stayed at home and homeschooled my children for their most vulnerable and formative years. That's a lot of sacrifice. Homeschooling is not for the weak, let me tell you. OMG, that was. And I was an adjunct professor teaching corporate finance. So I was, so I know how to teach. I'm, have great rigor in that, but it's something different when you're teaching your own kids, because, my first thought, just to be honest, was, what if I screw them up? Like, I would have no one to blame but myself. Like right now, if your kid can't read, for most of you, you get to blame the school, right? If they can't do, higher level math, you get to blame someone, the system, the man. But for that, when you're homeschooling, no, the bucks begin and end with you. And, but I say all of that to say is that I get it, Grania. I would love for you to call in. That number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. You will have a sympathetic ear. And yet at the same time, my personality, and I believe one of my roles in life is I don't try to create saunas for people. It's not about, jacuzzis. Yeah, I don't try to create jacuzzis for people to, sit back, relax, kick their feet up. But I'm kind of like a sauna, right? I turn up the temperature a little bit, but with a smile and with great intentions, because if we're going to get our country going in the right direction, at some point we have to take responsibilities for our own environment and for our own sphere of influence. We all have a sphere of influence, and it's up to you to show up every day in that sphere of influence and not cower. This is an environment in which we're living in that is conducive to making you cower and stick your head in the sand and go along to get along and clutch your pearls and try to take the pseudo high road. No. These people right now, and again, I use labels like Democrat, Republican, just because that's how most of us have been trained to think. But please don't think I'm just talking about Democrats or out here in a street fight. You have a lot of, there's a uniparty. I think most of us who are not asleep at the wheel recognize that this battle we're fighting is not just between Democrats and Republicans. No, there is a uniparty. 80% of the nation, we understand what is going on, and I believe 80% of us on the really big issues of this country, we are in alignment. But there is a uniparty. But for the sake of conversation, just to keep it moving forward, I'm just going to say Democrats are out here in a street fight. These people have taken off their earrings. They put Vaseline on their face. They got their hair pinned up, and they are out here on these streets throwing body shots, kicking people in the kneecaps. They are just dragged down, beating people up, choking us out. And here we are in the Republican Party, like, oh, I'm just going to take the high road. I don't want to offend anyone. I want everybody to like me. I'm just going to pray about it. I'm just going to, I'm not going to challenge my kids. I'm just going to, take the high road. No. If you're paying for your child's college, if you are contributing in any way and they're coming home with this foolishness, that's on you. And you're going to have to take responsibility for that, right? And so that's just the way it is. That's how I feel. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Please call me, 855-839-1210. Let me, hold up, my parents taught me what party to vote for. I know, Bob. Democrat, whether they said it out loud or not. That ended when I stomped for Bill Clinton and found out the Democrat election tactics, like lie and lie more until it becomes the truth. Yeah, that is it. Kathy and for Don Grace, thank you so much. Who is that? Tony, I appreciate you. I'm cracking up though. Which reference, Tony? Taking off the earrings and putting on Vaseline. Yeah, you know what's about to happen. I grew up like that, right? Like we settled look, sticks and stones don't break your bone. But I mean, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Now we know that, words are violence today, right? Words are violence. I grew up in an era where, you can say what you want to say, but until you touch me, that's when that's when we get down, right? That's how I grew up. So we fought. And then, you live to see another day. Today, not so much. Words are now violence. 855-839-1210. Call in. I'm going to be on the other side. I want to talk about the news of the day. I want to hit some headlines before my guests start calling in. Okay, guys. Talk to you soon.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Get ready for our Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. Everyone is talking about it. Be with me on September 12th as we talk about the election, politics, and all things Trump. It's huge. Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. September 12th, Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com. That's 1210WPHT.com.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Summer's winding down, Labor Day upon us. Now's the time to address all your fall automotive needs. In the market for a larger vehicle, to schlep around the kids, due for a service checkup after all that summer travel? My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they are your one-stop destination. Piazza Premium services every make or model: Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, Maserati, Alfa Romeo, BMW, Porsche, and more. PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Today's the day to join Dom Giordano in Wildwood at Mulligan Shore Bar and kick off the Labor Day holiday weekend. It's going to be a great day in Wildwood at Mulligan's. Blow off work. Everyone else is. And join Dom at Mulligan's in Wildwood starting at noon. Mulligan's is located at 310 West Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood. It's definitely a don't miss it kind of day. Celebrate Labor Day weekend and get the holiday started. Get all the details at 1210WPHT.com or find Mulligan's on Facebook at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood.
Don't miss Borgata's $1.5 million Summer Showdown. Now through August 31st, 1,500 winners will earn a share of $1.5 million. Plus, 2 lucky players will win a 2024 Ford Bronco or Jeep Rubicon. Earn entries for drawings held every Saturday, including 2 grand prize drawings on July 27th and August 31st. The $1.5 million Summer Showdown, only at Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Must be 21 or older. Players must be present to win. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Labor Day signifies a lifetime of work, the social and economic achievements of the American retiree. Hi, I am someone who cares and wants and will make a difference. Some say the founder of Labor Day was a carpenter. Others say it was a machinist. We know Rosie the Riveter was a contributor. You, the American retiree, have made countless sacrifices when you already were worn down to the bone. You did this hoping to build a nest egg that would last your lifetime. It's appropriate that our nation pays tribute to the contributors of this great country of strength, freedom, and perseverance. You, our American retirees. You are the backbone of this great country, and you do deserve to have all you've worked for last your lifetime. Preserve the fruits of your labor. On this Labor Day, stand tall, walk proud, and walk on. We at Crash Proof Retirement salute you.
Your 401k goes up and down. That's fine when you're 40, but not when you're 60. Find out how to protect your hard-earned money. Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
If it's been a minute since you've considered an Infinity, well, it's time to take another look. Head over to Infinity of Westchester today and secure rates as low as 4.99% on Infinity certified pre-owned models. And this month, take advantage of amazing offers on new Infinities during our end of summer event. Don't wait. Visit us in-store at Infinity of Westchester today or visit us online at infinityofwestchester.com. Philly rides with us.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
One foot in the ground,
I love that song. What?
Hear you from a mile away.
Hey, how y'all doing? This is Kathy Barnette. I am in for my double good girlfriend, Dawn Stensland, on the Dawn Stensland Show. Grania, I see you, girl. You called in. Eddie, I see both of my Eddies out there. Please stay right there. I'm coming to you. But I asked Grania to call in, and she did. What's up, Grania?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for calling in. What's on your mind?
Oh, no problem. Well, as I said, I have 4 children. They're all adults in their 30s. But as growing up, as I said, they were taught it's their duty to vote. I never told them who to vote for, and they would say, but everybody sucks. I said, well, pick the one that sucks the less. But I was raised in a house with a Democrat voting dad and a Republican mom who was very active in politics.
Right.
And we learned how to debate.
Yes.
And talk civilly. Mm-hmm. We talked civilly, and that went well with even my own children. I respected their choices. And the oldest one, went into the Navy. He served on a ship, went to Afghanistan, was at Bagram, and came out a conservative.
Yeah.
And then the next daughter was more of an independent, and she would argue with me, but the stunning thing was about 3 months ago, she said, you're right, Mom, only Trump can get us out of this.
Yeah. Good.
And
Bravo.
I said, good.
Okay, so that's 2.
So the third daughter that went also to college, and I paid her student loans. I bought her a brand new car with cash when I retired.
Wow.
And she moved on out, and January 6th happened, and I took my sister to Washington to see a rally. We wanted to experience it.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I'm retired federal law enforcement.
Yeah.
So as soon as things started going wrong, I grabbed my sister and said, we got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so we did, and the youngest daughter, of course, she voted for Biden because she was mad at her boyfriend.
Okay.
She's now a police officer. So
and how is
she's
she going to vote?
conservative.
Okay, so you got 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4.
The fourth one, just because we went to Washington that day, and stopped speaking to me.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, and she's actually the one I helped out the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, you can get all hurt over this, or just sit back and be an adult and let her do her thing. Well, it got worse because she wouldn't talk to me, but she would talk to her siblings and say,
about you.
Yeah, and my son as well. Oh, they're crazy. Well, it's interesting, like I said, now that these years have gone by, and they realize, the 3, that this really is bad.
Yeah.
And the one that's not speaking to me now lives in Pittsburgh, so that's another thing.
Yeah, some distance.
You know, between the Allegheny County, Philadelphia County, you know how blue it is.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
again, I was always taught to respect people's choices, but they don't talk to you. They scream at you and then say, I don't want to talk about it.
And then don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I know. But you know what? But, you know, and I don't know. I have no advice for you, okay? I'm not going to try to give you any because, you know, I know the heart of a mom. And my baby, we just dropped him off last week, so I still feel a little raw about it all.
Yes, I understand that.
I remember my grandmother used to say, she used to say this all the time, and I was a little girl, but I have grown to appreciate it. She used to say, when they're little, they're on your knees. When they're grown, they're on your heart. You can, you know, these are grown people. You cannot make grown people do anything, is what I've learned in life. And what I find myself doing is praying a lot for my children, and I will love my children, but I'm going to stand for what I believe is true. And by the grace of God, I will be praying that your daughter sees that. And, you know, she can still vote Democrat, but for goodness sake, love your mama. Talk to your mama.
That's right. And again, I respect her position. As a matter of fact, she was a Bernie bro. And when they did what they did to him, I said she was angry, but she still wanted to vote for Hillary. And then after she lost, she said, oh, this is terrible. I said, well, why don't you get involved? Call the local Democrat Party, get involved. Well, when she did that, they pretty much brushed her off.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were very rude. And I'm like, this is a young woman that wants to help.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not telling her what to do or not to do. She was passionate. And you want passionate young people.
Yeah, you do. Well, I mean, but the same can be said for the Republican Party. I mean, thank you so much, Grania. I want to get to Eddie and Concha Hawkins. Eddie, hey, how are you? Thank you for holding, Eddie.
Good. No problem. Thanks for taking my call. This is actually the first time I'm hearing you. I listen on and off. But I just want to say I agree with everything you said. I just want to say people do have to take responsibility for everything. You know, you can't blame government nor depend on government for everything. But where do people come off thinking stuff is free? I mean, Kamala's talking about giving first-time buyers X amount of money for giving student loans. I mean, you got to have responsibility.
No.
And again, this isn't a Democrat, Republican thing. These people want to change our way of government.
Oh,
and people
and they're doing it.
They just need not to have, I'm not telling anybody who to vote for. I'm just saying, don't have short memories. I mean, Hillary Clinton called Trump supporters, half the nation, deplorables.
Yeah, they don't care.
That right
they don't
there,
care.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't.
And
Eddie,
I just wanted to touch base, if I can, then I get off and I'll listen. I won't keep you. I'm watching the TV and I see this, supposedly this Venezuelan gang that took over 2 or 3 apartment complexes in the suburb of Denver, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
A sanctuary state, a sanctuary city. People have to hold them elected officials accountable. And just no matter which side of the aisle you're on, why aren't any of them condemning this? This is nonsense. You don't let a thug come into an apartment or a house or any property that's not theirs with machine guns and pistols and force people out to take over.
Well, that's the way the world used to work, Eddie. Things have changed, and shame on us for not taking Obama at his word when he said he is going to fundamentally change this country. And you're right, and he was right. He has fundamentally screwed this nation up. And there are things we have lost, like, private property, like, the police coming in and being there to help versus coming in and like, well, I don't know if I want to get involved anymore, because if I touch someone or do something, then I can lose my pension, go to jail. This is the environment in which we're living in right now. Eddie, thank you. You held on for 13 minutes. You are so awesome. I'm so glad you were able to hear me and that we were able to connect. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, and I see Eddie in Philadelphia. You've been holding on for 11 minutes. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you, Kathy. I did phone calling for your campaign, and I was really so elated to do that because
thank you.
I like you I also talked with you on the telephone one time about your book, Nothing to Lose. And I really think of you as someone who's a lifelong learner, and to this day you're really making so much effort to deeply understand and question things. And I wanted to Aaron Bashir, do you know him?
I do.
Yeah. Tomorrow, on Saturday, he's having a clergy conference breakfast. I don't know if you have heard about it. I asked him if I could invite you, and he said, of course, please. So I don't know, it's late to let you know about it, but it's if you're free, Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. I was touched by Gordon Chang's, I've heard you interview him before, but yesterday he mentioned about his relationship and prayer life to God, relationship to God, and I like him a lot, but I never heard him speak about it, God and his faith. So this is a conference for ministers and all kinds of people going to pray and discuss, as a discussion, to maybe 2.5 hours. Can I send you the address if you're free to come?
Yeah, you know what?
Somehow?
Actually, I am on my phone right now. I am looking at my. I'm getting ready to text Aaron right now, and I will.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
great.
I'm gonna text him right now, and I'll get the
Okay, that's
information.
great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you
No,
letting
thank
me
you.
know
God
about
bless you.
Aaron. He is a great guy. What office? He's running in Philadelphia
Right, for Congress.
for Congress.
Yeah, he's been speaking in churches all over Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But this is going to be maybe one of the most important meetings because we're going to be able to talk, not just listen and share. So I hope if you can make it, you'd be a wonderful addition. Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much. I pulled it up
No.
on my phone. I'll take a look at, I'll make sure to text him. But
Thank
thank
you.
you also,
Thank
Eddie, for working the
Yeah.
phones for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my whole family voted for you, 4 people, and we a number of our church members too.
Thank you so much. Yes. Yo, Eddie, I just appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. Grania, girl, you rock. Thank you so much for calling in. I truly appreciated that. We're going to a break already? OMG. Okay, guys, when I come back, I'm trying to get to the news of the day, but I just can't. It's so much else I want to talk about. Here's the number, 855-839-1210. In fact, I know I came in here with an agenda, but you guys set the agenda. So if you guys call in, I will take those calls, and we will move down the path that you set. The number is 855-839-1210. See y'all on the other side.
Hey everyone, it's Donald Trump Jr. Join me and Dom Giordano Thursday, September 12th at the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood, New Jersey for the next Politics and Pints with WPHT. We will talk all things Trump, the 2024 election, and my father's book, Letters to Trump. South Jersey and PA suburbs are hugely important to electing Donald Trump president. Just head to 1210WPHT.com for tickets right now. Hope to see you there.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows, and you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Support the Evesham Township Police Foundation. See Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, Saturday, October 26th.
It was fabulous. It was the most joyful night I have experienced in a long time. God bless America. There's hope. There is so much hope with joy and laughter.
The Frank Sinatra guy, I really liked him.
His imitation of the Bee Gees.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
People are talking about Window Nation. One customer said,
"We couldn't be happier. This was a great experience."
Window Nation is about value, and this August, they're giving you a great value during their anniversary sale. Buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There's no limit on how much you could save. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Act now and get an extra $250 credit. Hurry, sale ends August 31st, so schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
At Tri-County Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, get wholesale club pricing for everyone on the 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4xE. Or choose the 2024 Jeep Compass and lease for as low as $298 per month for 27 months. Go to TriCountyCDJR.com to see our great inventory. We're easy to find off the Limerick exit of 422. Visit TriCountyCDJR.com today for more details and experience the Tri-County difference.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet?
Not yet.
Do it today.
Okay.
At 1210 WPHT.
All right. I have just, I think she said like 90 seconds here. So let me just get real quick to some of the points of the day, or headlines of the day. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson said the Supreme Court could deal with legal issues stemming from the 2024 election. This would be, something different, because if you remember, unlike John Roberts in 2020, when, we had that election that was the safest election, the most secure election ever, the Supreme Court refused to take up the case. The Supreme Court rejected a handful of cases. One of those cases that they rejected, if you remember, was a case out of Pennsylvania, out of right here, because we were receiving ballots 3 days after the election, and it didn't matter about the postmark. The election was on a Tuesday. It didn't matter if they actually put it in the mail on a Wednesday. It didn't matter, right? And so, but at that time, the Republicans, the Republican-leaning or the more conservative-leaning justices, outside of about 3 of them, Justice Clarence Thomas being one of them, and Alito, who wanted to actually take up this case, if for nothing else, for going forward, right, of who gets to make the laws concerning election. Is it the court or is it the legislators within that state? I know the Constitution says it's the legislators, but in 2020, it was actually the court. But John Roberts didn't want to have anything to do with it. But Ketanji Brown is now saying, Justice Ketanji Brown is now saying in an interview that should be coming out really soon, that that they are prepared to deal with election-related cases as voters prepare to cast their votes. I thought that was kind of interesting. The other one was more than half of commercial baby foods are unhealthy. And let me tell you guys, I am really on a health kick right now. I'm all about understanding the food. And if you remember when RFK Jr. Gave his speech that he was going to endorse Donald Trump, one of the things he spent an exorbitant amount of time talking about was just our children and the obesity rate in America. Our children are now the most unhealthiest and sickest children in the world. Don't we want healthy children? Don't we want our babies to be well? Well, this particular report says more than half of commercial baby foods are unhealthy, mainly because proteins are lacking and there's way too much sugar, like 44% more sugar in the food. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there for you guys. We could talk about that. Give me a call, 855-839-1210.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Prices keep rising, but Social Security isn't keeping up with inflation. Seniors are struggling, and Senator Bob Casey's votes made things worse. Casey voted repeatedly for higher taxes on Social Security benefits. Doesn't Casey know that seniors can't afford higher taxes? Casey backed President Biden's agenda 98% of the time, including trillions in wasteful spending. All that spending didn't help lower prices. In fact, it drove inflation even higher. And Senator Casey wasted our tax dollars on COVID relief checks for violent criminals. That's right. Casey voted to send COVID relief checks to convicted murderers and rapists in jail. That's less for us, more for convicts. Call Senator Casey at 202-224-6324. Tell him to put Pennsylvania seniors and families first and fix his inflation disaster. Support S575, the Fight Inflation Through Balanced Budgets Act, paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
40 days to lose up to 40-plus pounds with NJ Diet. It only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to personalize supplements that will target your hormonal imbalances so you can lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep it off. Call Dr. T, 855-5NJ-DIET, or go to njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds, 40 days up to 40 pounds, NJ Diet.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251.
Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-246-0553. 800-246-0553. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-246-0553.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
What's up, Pennsylvania? This is Kathy Barnette in for the Dawn Stensland Show. I will also be here on Monday, so I'll be back Monday for all of you. The number to call in if you want to be a part of the conversation is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. Let me get to another something that I wanted to talk about. The Taliban. Did you guys know, because I haven't seen it being reported, but it is there. The State Department in ERA gave roughly $239 million in U.S. aid to the Taliban.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. No. $80 billion, because the Taliban, they're in Afghanistan. They're the ruling party of Afghanistan. And so in addition to the $230 million that we just gave them in U.S. aid, we also left for them $80 billion worth of military equipment that they are providing to Hamas and Iran and Hezbollah as they are attacking Israel right now.
Jeez.
But let me just tell you guys, the Taliban has received at least $239 million in U.S. aid aimed at counterterrorism. Yeah, you can't make that up. After the State Department vetting procedures fell apart, according to this government watchdog, they identified at least 29 grants where the Taliban erroneously received counterterrorism funds. Investigators found that the State Department did not comply with their own vetting requirements because, of course, this administration is far too busy being focused on how many men in dresses with 6 sex fetishes that they can put throughout the administration to worry about real adult things, right? They don't want to adult. They just want to do, it's all about diversity, inclusion, right? How many in-your-face shocking men with beards and red lipstick can you have? That's what this administration has been focused on. So, but the funds came from the State Department divisions called Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor. So the $239 million that was inadvertently, erroneously given to the Taliban to fight counterterrorism came out of the State Department's Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor Division, another part. In June of this year, the State Department actually acknowledged this and admitted to the gaps in compliance highlighted in the report. So the revelation of $239 million intended for counterterrorism has fallen into the hands of the Taliban, not only misuses taxpayer dollars, but also poses a serious threat to our own interests. And then this past Wednesday, let me tell you how, the Taliban is probably using some of this money, is that the Taliban just issued a new ruling this past Wednesday, so just 2 days ago, that banned women's voices and bare faces in public under their new laws. And this was approved by their supreme leader to combat vice and promote virtue. Let me just go on a little bit. The laws, again, was issued this past Wednesday. It is set up a ministry for the propagation of virtue and prevention vice. Let me just jump down here. It's about 114 pages. Article 13 relates to women. It says it is mandatory for a woman to veil her body at all times in public, and that a face covering is essential to avoid temptation and tempting others. Clothing should not be thin, tight, or short. Women should veil themselves in front of all male strangers, including Muslims, and in front of all non-Muslims to avoid being corrupted. A woman's voice is deemed intimate and so should not be heard singing, reciting, or reading aloud in public. It is forbidden for women to look at men they are not related to by blood or marriage, and vice versa. Article 19 bans the playing of music, the transportation of solo female travelers, and mixing of men and women who are not related to each other. The law also obliges passengers and drivers to perform. Okay, so it just goes on and on and on. So a part of our $239 million aid that we sent to fight counterterrorism and to promote our interests was sent erroneously to the Taliban because this administration just is not serious. Rosie, I know. Rosie, I see you there, but I have my guest, Jake Novak, who just called in. Hey, Jake, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I was listening to what you were just saying, and what a contrast to American policies in the past where succeed or not succeed, we tried to push American values on potential allies or other countries, and to give money to people who are clearly pushing non-American. I just don't see. You could argue, well, we don't want to give money to these countries where we have a deficit, but maybe it'll work in the long run. Like, this isn't going to work in the long run for anyone. This is a death sentence, not only for the whole world, but for the people of Afghanistan. This is a death. Not interacting with the world and shutting out half of your population is an economic and cultural death sentence. So this is really money badly spent.
I mean, once again, right? I mean, can you think of how we could use that money here in America versus, and erroneously, because you're not an adult, you're not, this administration is not serious, so they inadvertently, erroneously sent $239 million to fight terrorism to the Taliban. Do you think they're going to send any of these pink hat wearing women, woke women, over to Afghanistan to stand up and fight for the Afghan women?
No, and this is, by the way, I say this all the time. If someone is a real feminist, I'd love to have a discussion with you. If someone is a real environmentalist, I'd love to have a discussion with you. But so often what we find is they're not really feminists, right? They say they're feminists, but they defend genital mutilation of women all over the world, and Ms. Magazine never did an article about that. Why? Because if you can't blame white Republican men for something, then they're not so interested in feminism anymore. Environmentalists. I had environmentalists on shows that I produced who were lobbying against offshore drilling in America. And then I found out that their big sponsor was George Soros, who makes a lot of money off of offshore drilling in Brazil. And I said, can I ask you about offshore drilling in Brazil? Nah, it's not the same earth, I guess.
Exactly,
so
right.
The truth is, right. So my point is, if you really care, when you ask people if they really, they really care about this particular issue. I don't like Trump because of this, that, and the other thing. And then you find out that it's really not about that. It's all about hate for them. If I told them tomorrow that Exxon had created a completely clean fuel that will never harm the environment, that will never run out, they'd be infuriated. They'd be infuriated. Darn.
Kind of like nuclear energy. Kind of like nuclear energy, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, right? I mean,
right.
Listen, don't bother me with the facts, ma'am. I'm in my emotions. I have my narrative. I have my cause. I have purpose. And I don't think we in the Republican Party actually place enough emphasis on just how powerful that is to have a purpose, to feel like you have hope, because the opposite of that is to be without understanding of why you're here and what you're doing, right? So they don't believe in God, and so they have to kind of create their own reasons for existing. And a lot of these people, when you talk to them, climate change is akin to a religion for them, right? And they have to, they have their version of a catechism. They flog themselves. They have all of their virtue signaling that they do, kind of the opposite, similar but opposite of what Christians do, right? There's a certain way we behave, a certain way that we talk, and that we show up in the world. And it's likewise for these people. And I don't think the Republican Party fully appreciates how, just giving the facts to these people is not enough. I don't think there's anything else we can share with them from a fact-based perspective that would get them to listen and wake up. It's actually giving them a reason for hope. We have to replace their sense of purpose with something that is real and tangible and that is uplifting.
Well, that's right. There, what you described is what I've been saying for many, many years. There is no such thing as a non-religious person.
Mm-hmm.
You may not be a Jew, a Christian, or a Muslim, or a Hindu, but you're probably choosing something else to have a religious devotion, to use your religious style devotion, because I think it's in the human DNA. Again, no such thing as a non-religious person. Sadly, politics is one of the biggest replacements for established religion. Now, I'm a member of the oldest surviving cult in the world as a Jewish person, highly very traditional, very Shiva educated, the whole thing.
I don't think it's a cult. I love the Jewish people.
No, well, there's a cult. Every religion has a cultish aspect of it. Obviously, religion, it takes that and makes it a full way of life. I'm just saying,
right, I know what you mean.
We started it, right?
Right.
We're the ones that are. So I'm not joining a new one. I gave it the office. I'm not joining your political, anyone's political movement as a replacement for my religion.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that millions and millions of Americans are religiously bonded in a warped way with their political party, and that is very scary because yes, you can't really deal with them with facts. You can't really show, because again, it's like the wars of city-states in ancient times. It wasn't just one city-state versus another city-state. It was that city-state's God versus the other city-state's God. That's the way they looked at it. So when they lose an election, it's not like, okay, we lost, let's gather our troops together. And it's, no, you came into my temple and desecrated it.
Right,
you defeated
exactly.
me. That's really what it is.
I mean, it is. And working with the Vivek Ramaswamy campaign, working with my own senatorial race here in Pennsylvania in 2022 against Dr. Oz and others, I saw that firsthand. I saw this cult-like, quality, to your point, not just on the left, but also on the right. and it was, kind of shocking, but it allowed me to begin to see people for right where they are. But let me also get to, because, I did not get a chance to actually introduce you. This is Jake Novak, political analyst, editorial columnist. I'm sorry, I got something in my throat. Editorial columnist and author. An author of Jake's Takes on Substack, who has run national shows for 30 years and was a former staffer for the Israeli consulate under President Trump.
No, the Israeli consulate, it was during the whole COVID lockdown stuff. So it was 2021 through 2022, 2 years there.
Yeah. So in last night, did you get a chance to watch what was supposed to be an interview of Kamala and Waltz?
I did, and I was shocked by a couple of things right off the top. Obviously, we were all shocked that only 18 minutes of it was aired to the American public. That was a huge embarrassment, I think, for CNN and for the Harris-Waltz campaign as well. But remember, look, everyone who's informed in this has already made their choice. This election now will sadly be decided by very low information voters. So I thought that the combination of Waltz and Harris was being done so that they could get the low information voter and show their little phony buddy movie kind of thing that they've been doing on the campaign trail.
So much love and joy.
Right. But we didn't see that. It was somber. It looked like they were a married couple being brought to school to discuss their misbehaving child. There was no smiling. Waltz looked like he was bored sitting there. It was dour and glum. Now, again, for those of you listening who are engaged, and again, these are not kind of things that you would notice first, but I noticed it first, because I couldn't believe that they weren't at least projecting a happy, happy, joy, we're the nice guys and gals campaign. And I was shocked. I mean, whoever's working for the Waltz-Harris campaign, huge mistake to allow for that venue to be used, which looked like, again, a school room, like a school library room.
It was like kind of dark and dim,
right.
And so it was not keeping up with the, we're so happy and we just have joy on our side, and we're just going to take the high road while the rest of you eat cake. But one of the things, when I was listening to, it was not even the full I couldn't even find the full 18 minutes. They had it in parts, part 1, 2, and 3, and it just looked awkward. But nonetheless, there was one part that she said, and I thought about you because I knew I would be interviewing you today, is when she said, like most people who don't really have an opinion say on the issue of Palestine and Israel, is that, I'm for a two-state solution. Again, this is just something you blurt out because you're talking to low information people who don't actually understand what that means. Can you just give me a couple of more minutes right before we go out? No, can't. Okay, Jake, can you hold on 1 second and let me take this break and I'll come right back? But just kind of think about that, because I just think, again, it's something it's like a knee-jerk response that where low information voters say, oh, okay, well, I guess. But in reality, can there ever really be two-state solution? We'll be right back.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Temperatures remain on the cool side as we head into the upcoming holiday weekend. Today, mostly cloudy with a shower possible in some spots, high only 76. Tonight, a little more humid, mostly cloudy with a low 68. And for Saturday, warmer, becoming partly sunny with a high 86.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Wawa has new Southwest flavors like the roasted chicken fajita veggie quesadilla.
Fajita veggies?
Or the beefsteak burrito with salsa roja.
Salsa roja? Love.
You can also add fire-roasted corn and crispy jalapenos.
No way. All from Wawa.
Oh, you bet. Wawa's always keeping things fresh, and this time, it's with delicious Southwest flavors. Try them in a burrito, bowl, or quesadilla, and build it just how you like it. Gotta have a Wawa.
Today's the day to join Dom Giordano in Wildwood at Mulligan Shore Bar and kick off the Labor Day holiday weekend. It's going to be a great day in Wildwood at Mulligan's. Blow off work. Everyone else is. And join Dom at Mulligan's in Wildwood starting at noon. Mulligan's is located at 310 West Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood. It's definitely a don't miss it kind of day. Celebrate Labor Day weekend and get the holiday started. Get all the details at 1210WPHT.com or find Mulligan's on Facebook at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood.
Support the Evesham Township Police Foundation. See Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, Saturday, October 26th.
Conklin doing his thing, his best voices, his best shtick. Joe's family is just, they're like back from the Osmonds. They're Osmonds on steroids. They're unbelievable.
They made fun of the Cowboys, though. I've known him for such a long time, but I did not know he could sing like that.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
At Wawa, you can always find the right drinks for the right time. And Wawa's pumpkin drinks are back sooner than ever, so you can enjoy the best of summer and fall. Enjoy a pumpkin brulee milkshake by the pool. Sip a pumpkin cheesecake smoothie while skateboarding. Or take a pumpkin spice iced coffee on a camping trip. At Wawa, anytime is drink time. And now's the time to feel cool and cozy with Wawa's new pumpkin flavors. Available in milkshakes, cream smoothies, and iced coffee. Gotta have a Wawa.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Yo, Roy is Ford. We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Okay, Jake, I left you with that question. I'm going to just throw it to you real quick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, it was incredible that answer was so simplistic, as you said, an almost low information toss out. But I got to tell you, people on every side of this issue have to be infuriated by her answer. First of all, she never said the word Hamas. She said Israel in the war against the Palestinians. Yeah. Israel's not in a war with the Palestinians. Israel's in a war with Hamas. Okay, that's very important. Mm-hmm. Second thing is, you're right. Listen, we talk about two-state solution. Muslim Arabs in what we now call Israel have been given 12 opportunities and offers for statehood since 1933. Every single time they say the same thing. I don't know why we won't listen to them. They say the same thing. We will not accept it unless there are no Jews here.
Exactly.
Now, I don't know if is it because we don't respect them? Is it because we just don't want to, we want to hate on the Jewish people there and we don't want to ever let them tell us listen to their warnings, or what? It's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It could. I mean,
it will never happen.
From the river to the sea. What does that mean? And when you ask them, well, what does that mean for the Jews who are living there? They just look at you. They know exactly what that means. It is for the complete annihilation of a people. And so I am so grateful that Israel is not waiting for the rest of the world to tell them how to protect themselves. I mean, I've said it always that it was Hamas on October 7th who opened up a can of whoop ass, and now that they're getting their behind whooped, everybody's complaining. But I remember when it happened, it wasn't even a full day, and people were telling Israel to show restraint. No. They need to do exactly what they're doing to secure their people. When you look at what's happening with Hezbollah, you look at what's happening with Iran, down there in Yemen, with the Houthis. I mean, this is expanding, and I believe it's expanding because we have weak leadership.
You know, Kathy, it's interesting. What people don't understand, there's something about anti-Semitism which is really weird. When a horrible anti-Semitic attack happens, like October 7th, it doesn't shame or frighten other anti-Semites around the world. In other words, it's like something really terrible. It's not like, oh, let's hide for a while because people are going to hate us. It does the opposite. It emboldens them.
It emboldens them.
There is no FOMO like anti-Semitic FOMO. When they see their fellow anti-Semites committing, no matter how atrocious the act is, it emboldens them to do more. They're like, boy, they're doing this over. We got to. So it's helped bring out all of these anti-Semites out of the woodwork here in the U.S. and all over the world. They immediately started, even before Israel started to retaliate, there were protests against Israel on the evening of October 7th in Europe and in some parts of the United States, if you can believe it. Of course, if you understand the nature of anti-Semitism, you will believe it. And this is just outrageous. Now, the good news is, and I think this is a national emergency, but there's one silver lining. It's a national emergency, Kathy, that we don't know who the president of the United States is. This is outrageous. We don't know who's in charge. Honestly, anyone who says they do is not really telling the truth unless they're part of that cabal.
Yeah. I mean,
Israel's
he's
taking,
not
however,
he's not cognitively capable to run for president for in this election, but he is cognitively capable of being president. Like the oxymoron there, right?
That's right. But the silver lining is Israel, ever since June 27th, you can go back and just take a look at the news from June 27th on till now. Israel has taken this opportunity to be very, very proactive in taking out the leaders of Hamas, Hezbollah, and now they have this big offensive in the West Bank with other Hamas people and other Iranian-backed terrorists. And all those warnings that Joe Biden gave them before everyone knew he was completely out of it, don't go into Rafah. Israel rescued that hostage, that Bedouin hostage this week, because they went into Rafah.
Yeah.
Hamas is on its last legs now because they went in there.
I am so glad to see that. Now, I have maybe your boss, Rob Bluey, on right now. I don't know if both of them can come on at the same time. Bring them both in. Hey, Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me,
Yes,
Kathy.
I have Jake Novick on the line as well. You two want to say hello?
Hi, Jake. How are you?
I don't
today?
know if I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine.
Not your boss.
Oh, okay.
No,
I have no
no.
idea. But nonetheless, I thought you guys worked at the same place. But nonetheless, Jake, let me just leave you with, something that you said is that, that when you see what is happening in Israel, what Hamas did to Israel, that you would think people would say, oh, wow, that's really ugly. That's really, nasty. Let us kind of hide and, rethink all of this. But instead, you see the opposite. It is a what do you call it? Like digging their feet into the ground. And I know we have this thing in our country where, Islam is mostly peaceful. But if you actually read the Quran, in which I did when I was in college, I mean, there is a strand of Islam where their hadith comes out of tremendous chaos, not peace. And so it is every good Muslim's responsibility to create as much mayhem, and that encourages and emboldens the others who are watching that maybe this strand is correct.
Well, I would just say one thing about that, which is hopeful. Look, when people say that, there'll never be peace in the Middle East, I always scoff at that and say, like, well,
Abraham Accord.
Yeah, there has been. Not only the Abraham Accords. The Abraham Accords is not just a new chapter in history. It's a reset. There was peace in at the time when Europeans were beheading was all the rage in Europe and England and France. The Middle East, especially for Jews, was a better place. It wasn't perfect. We were still second-class citizens and all that kind of stuff. But still, my point is, genocidal outlooks on non-Muslims is something that Islamism, not Islam, is responsible for. Now, I'm not naive. Unfortunately, Islamism and Islamists have a huge foothold in the Muslim world, and it's really, really scary. The good news is, though, if that influence can be overcome, and you're right, the Abraham Accords is proof that not only can some Muslims overcome it, but big-time countries, Saudi Arabia, the richest nation in the Middle East, the United Arab Emirates, which is creating a whole new fantastic city of the world in Dubai, which, by the way, is benefiting from the fact that Hong Kong has become repressive. Dubai is now becoming the new Hong Kong, precisely because of China's repression. If those kinds of people can see the reality that they don't have to kill every non-Muslim, then there's hope. There's real hope. But we need an administration that sees that. We need an administration that doesn't think giving Iran more power in the region will bring peace. That's insane and stupid and probably the result of bribery, frankly.
Yeah. Well, Jake, thank you so much
that's
for
what we need.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. I truly appreciate you. And Rob, let me bring you back into the conversation. Because Rob Bluey is the president and executive editor of the Daily Signal. Thank you so much, sir, for calling in.
Well, thank you, Kathy. It's great to be here, and I couldn't agree more with Jake's comments. There's a great contrast that we're seeing between the two candidates for president right now, particularly on their foreign policy and approach to the Middle East in particular, and a record that we can judge. We can judge the Biden-Harris record over the course of the last 3.5 years and Trump's 4 years when he served his first term. So certainly the American people are seeing a lot of flip-flops on domestic issues, but on foreign policy issues, there seems to be quite a contrast between the two.
And last night, that was a very kind of kid's glove interview that Dana did with Kamala. It was nothing like her interview with J.D. Vance, right? Of saying, no, you're wrong. I don't agree. What about this? And, it was very kid's glove. I know they're calling it an interview last night. It didn't really look like an interview. But nonetheless, with Kamala, there was a lot of flip-flopping, obviously, that was going on. But Dana and Kamala and the and the CNN anchors characterized it as not a flip-flop, but an evolution, right? Better information.
Right.
Do you think do you even think people are paying attention? Do you think, Democrats who are watching this, who are going to vote for Biden because they thought Biden was cognitively well, but now going to vote for Kamala, do you think they even care that this woman is flip-flopping?
Well, you're absolutely right. By the way, Kathy, I'd love to see you interview her because I think that we get the truth on a lot more than what CNN is able to bring out. But are people paying attention? Well, we know that people don't pay attention to CNN given how poor their viewership is. So just questionable choice on her part why she would pick a network that has so few viewers. But I don't know that the American people by and large are paying attention. I mean, they are. We know from study after study that there's growing distrust in the news media. So, on the one hand, I don't necessarily blame Kamala Harris for not spending a lot of time talking to news stations because I think she realizes, just like you and I do, that they're not to be trusted. And this is the type of audience that they're seeing dwindle as a result of their poor performance or the types of softball questions that they throw out. Now, as to what Kamala Harris is trying to do, I think she recognizes that the hard left extreme positions of progressive Democrats are deeply unpopular with the American people. And Donald Trump's policy positions largely are favorable, and that is quite clear from poll after poll. And so it's not surprising to me that she would adopt the same types of positions as Trump, or maybe slightly more moderate positions than Trump on certain issues, in an effort to appeal to those voters in the 6 or 7 states that are going to decide this election. Her economic plan is opportunity economy versus opportunity zone. Now she's going to not tax tips. Well, Donald Trump said that about a month before she did. And I mean, it's just so obvious and it's so disingenuous to anyone with a brain who's paying attention and who's not morally compromised already. But let me ask you, I mean, because this certainly is a strategy for the Harris-Walsh campaign, is for her not to take interviews and for this to be her very first one. I mean, it feels very Stalin-esque, when you have these communist leaders who won't deign to have a conversation with the people. But it is certainly a strategy. And I was thinking the other day, in a democracy, quote unquote, why would they take this route? I mean, the role is, and I ran in 2022, and I spent 1,500 miles on the road every single week trying to get in front of as many people as possible to compel them to, to listen to me, to vote for me. And here you have the Kamala Harris and Walsh campaign, and they're, not taking interview. That's a part of their
strategy. Like, what do they know that the rest of us don't know? Do they feel like they don't have to come in front of the people that, I mean, maybe Zuckerberg isn't giving bucks this time, but what do they know that the rest of us don't know that makes them feel comfortable with this strategy?
That's a great question. And I think two things primarily. Number one is they're trying to take a page out of the 2020 playbook from Joe Biden,
because
where he essentially hid in the basement. And Joe Biden hid in the basement. He portrayed himself to be a moderate. He was going to come in and work with Republicans and Democrats. And then, of course, you and I saw the exact opposite happen almost from day one of his administration when he took, again, far left, radical progressive Democrat positions on issues from border security, taking away parental rights, putting men and women's sports. I mean, you can go down the list of the radical things that he did. And I think that she figures, oh, my goodness, if I can make all these promises to the American people and they don't pay close attention to what my past record is on these things, maybe I can sneak into the White House and then I'll just reverse course from day one, too. I think the second thing is, with regard to your question about avoiding media interviews, the Democratic Party, they were quite open about this at the DNC in Chicago, where they brought in all of these social media influencers who in many cases have greater reach than CNN, MSNBC, many of these outlets that cater to left-wing news consumers. And I think that they figure if they can portray by giving them free food and all sorts of luxuries.
Vasectomies and abortions.
Yes, well, right, and they're going to go out and carry the water for Kamala Harris and present her in this very favorable image to voters, and that's how people are increasingly getting their news through TikTok and Instagram. Then maybe she feels she can pull the wool over their eyes.
I mean, so what do you do with this? I mean, when it's so evil and it's just so overwhelming, and I think this is part of their strategy as well, is just to exacerbate the rest of us into inaction. What do we do to overcome this?
So, well, this is where I think you play an important role. We play an important role at the Daily Signal, but it's not just media personalities or media organizations on the right that have a role here. It's pretty much every American. Given the power that we have through social media platforms, we can be out there exposing her record as well. And so if you go back and you look at her time as Attorney General in California, if you look at her time as a prosecutor, if you look at her record in the Senate when she was the most radical liberal elected, I think that you could point out, here is what Kamala Harris actually did when she had a position on certain policy issues, and make sure that the American people understand that. And so this metamorphosis or this media makeover that she's going through right now, I think will hopefully raise questions in the eyes of enough Americans to say skeptically, is this really who we're going to get in the White House if she's elected president? And chances are probably not. And so that's where I would really like to return the focus to her past record and the positions that she's taken on those issues. And I think it's really all of us who can play a role in that. And the second thing is, I think, the more Americans that raise their hand and say, I want 3 debates. I agree with Donald Trump. There should be 3 debates, just as there has historically been for decades now. Kamala Harris is ducking 2 debates. Let's put her in front of the camera and let's have her answer these tough positions. She's clearly uncomfortable doing that, and I think that tells us something that there's probably a reason that she doesn't want to face tough questions from Fox News or you or me or anybody else who might be in a position to ask them.
I mean, she's clearly uncomfortable in her skin, whether it's, she's black or whatever. She's just very uncomfortable in her own skin at all times. But, I woke up a couple of weeks ago and it felt like the world was on fire. I was watching I've been glued to the television of watching what's going on in Bangladesh right now with the ouster of Sheikh Hasina. You have China. I thought they were going to do a takeover of Taiwan, but no, it's all about the Philippines right now. Israel, we see what's going on. It was in Gaza. Now it's in Hezbollah. It's in Iran. You have the Houthis. The British citizens are up in arms. Ukraine, Russia, it's just, and then now, I was reading yesterday, the EU urged to rethink their ties with Israel over Gaza. The world is on fire. And I look at the Biden administration and I see some deeply unserious people You know, I'm thinking about Venezuela right now and what's going on there. The world is on fire, and I see it. It feels very ominous to me, like that a bow is about to break. We need to focus, and I look at the American people. When I ran my own race, when I was with Vivek Ramaswamy, there's a tremendous amount of apathy, and I am concerned that the American people are just so overwhelmed and oppressed with their own issues of housing, of cost of food. I'm reading an article right now that half of commercial baby foods are unhealthy. I don't know if they're paying attention beyond like the Twitter influencers or the TikTok influencers.
Well, I'm so glad that you pointed out the fact that the world is on fire, and you would almost think that it's deliberate on their part when you have Antony Blinken or Jake Sullivan or some of these retreads from the Obama years. By the way, Obama didn't have a stellar record on foreign policy either. Remember, that's when the world was really on fire, and it was largely because of the policies that he was pursuing. So it's no surprise to me that after 4 years of relative peace and stability under Donald Trump, you have a return to, again, these crises all across the globe. And in some cases, I do think maybe their neocon position, which is to invite more wars and fighting so you can funnel money to the defense industrial complex, maybe this is intentional on their part. Maybe it's just incompetence. I don't know that we know the true answer, but what I do know is that we need a reset, and we need it badly because, as you say, the American people have enough to worry about here at home, paying gas, groceries, and rent. As RFK said last week when he was endorsing Trump, the health crisis that's going on in our country. You pointed out the foods that are simply unhealthy. But, the thing that I worry about is the American people, when they go to the grocery store, are looking for the best bargains because they see, inflation has increased the cost of so many foods anyways. How can you afford to get some of those foods that may be a little bit more expensive? I don't know that they can. And so there are so many issues. And that's why I think the American people, if they just judge the Biden-Harris administration on the merits of what they've accomplished or not accomplished, there's quite a stark contrast between Donald Trump and them and the 4 years that Trump was in office. And so that's what I hope this comes down to. And the best way to show that contrast, frankly, is on the debate stage when Donald Trump has an opportunity to defend his record.
Absolutely. And like you said, Rob, for every American, not just to sit and look at Donald Trump and wait for him to do it all, but make a cup of coffee and go talk to your neighbor. Rob, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate what you do.
Yes, you too, sir. Okay, guys, I'll talk to y'all in a minute.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Prices keep rising, but Social Security isn't keeping up with inflation. Seniors are struggling, and Senator Bob Casey's votes made things worse. Casey voted repeatedly for higher taxes on Social Security benefits. Doesn't Casey know that seniors can't afford higher taxes? Casey backed President Biden's agenda 98% of the time, including trillions in wasteful spending. All that spending didn't help lower prices. In fact, it drove inflation even higher. And Senator Casey wasted our tax dollars on COVID relief checks for violent criminals. That's right. Casey voted to send COVID relief checks to convicted murderers and rapists in jail. That's less for us, more for convicts. Call Senator Casey at 202-224-6324. Tell him to put Pennsylvania seniors and families first and fix his inflation disaster. Support S575, the Fight Inflation Through Balanced Budgets Act. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-246-0553. 800-246-0553. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-246-0553.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Texting enrolls in recurring automated text marketing messages. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply. Reply help for help or stop to opt out.
Are you drinking too much? Is alcohol affecting your relationships? Could drinking be affecting your job?
Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of OrHealth. I struggled with alcohol misuse for 15 years. I tried self-help, therapy, and traditional 12-step programs, but nothing really worked. That's why I started OrHealth. OrHealth provides access to safe and effective medication, FDA approved for the treatment of alcohol issues. A daily pill proven to reduce alcohol cravings and make it easier to drink less or quit.
To join the thousands who are drinking less or who have quit altogether, text CHECK to 710-710. You'll be sent a secure link to OrHealth's private online assessment. If treatment is right for you, a licensed medical professional will prescribe medication for discreet and convenient delivery to your door. Just text CHECK to 710-710. That's CHECK to 710-710.
Not available in all states. For SMS terms, privacy policy, risk, and restrictions, please go to orhealth.com/terms. Use as directed.
Need new doors and windows, but not high-pressure sales tactics?
If so, give Emmons a call today. At Emmons, we provide top-notch installation service with a focus on quality and customer satisfaction with brands like Anderson and Provia Windows and Doors.
And you can upgrade your home today with our energy-efficient options, which help save you money.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Free speech lives here. With Dom Giordano, weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Got my walking shoes on. Yes, I'm walking, y'all. I can't tell you where I'm going, but I'm walking down this lonely road. But at least the scenery is beautiful because, as I said to you guys yesterday, my hope is not in these people in office, but it is in knowing that there is such a thing as truth, and it is my responsibility, our responsibility, to go figure that out. And with us, helping us to kind of tease out what is and what is not true, is Jim Berling. Hello, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Jim is the VP of Legal Affairs at Pacific Legal Foundation, has been litigating property rights, environmental, and land use cases for over 40 years. Thank you so much. I think you have a brand new book, Nowhere to Live, The Hidden Story of America's Housing Crisis. Tell us about that.
So this is a book that is based on my 40 years of experience in litigating land use issues. And the one common theme that I've seen in all of these cases is that we have so many rules and regulations affecting the use of property. It has become, especially in some parts of the country along the coast, almost impossible for a builder to build homes where people want to live for a reasonable cost. And so we're not building enough homes, supply is going down, demand is heavy, and because we have an imbalance between supply and demand, prices are going up and up and up. And this is what my book talks about, all the various rules and regulations and government policies that have led to the mess that we're in today, with housing prices being so high they're unaffordable to new families and to working people.
But hey, Kamala says she has a plan for that. One is to tax unrealized gains. What do you think? How do you think that's going to impact costs, and specifically for the middle class?
You know, when you have more taxes, more inflation, more government policies, it generally only makes things worse. She's proposing, for example, to have a $25,000 credit for first-time home buyers, but that's going to just shovel money into what's left of the supply, and it's not going to create more supply. So demand is going to continue to go up with that extra money, and prices are going to go up. So that will cause an increase in prices even further.
Yes.
She talks about shoveling $40 billion into the industry, and that's just going to be followed by all kinds of rules and regulations. And the same thing, it's just going to be counter to what we need.
Absolutely right, because when a builder or a banker knows that $25,000 that you're getting that as a subsidy, then they're just going to raise the price by $20,000, right? So you feel
exactly right.
I mean, so like this is just business. This is just how things are, right? Like they know you're going to automatically qualify for $25,000. Guess what? Everything costs about $20,000 more.
Exactly. We saw the same thing with higher education. When government started shoveling money into higher education, hey, take this loan, it's going to be great. You can spend $100,000 in loans and get tuition. What did we see? Every school in the country, tuition has gone much faster than inflation.
So you must not think much about what California just, the lawmakers there, I think it was yesterday, they just passed a bill that gives illegals up to $150,000 to cover down payments, no interest on that loan, and they don't have to repay it unless they sell the home or requalify. What do you think about that?
I think California is insane when it comes to policies like that. We have a $25 billion deficit, and we're shoveling money not only for first-home buyers, which we've had this sort of over a year now of this subsidy of $150,000 for a down payment, but now it's also to illegal immigrants as well.
Think about that. Just think about that. Half the earth, as Elon Musk said, should just come to California. I mean, if you're an illegal, they will give you $150,000 to cover the down payment for your home. Now, if you live in Orange County, they'll give you $240,000.
Yeah. Meanwhile, other working stiffs that are paying these taxes to pay for this stuff, they can't afford to have rent. They can't afford their homes. And we have people fleeing the state and going to other states like California, like Texas, like Florida, like Tennessee, where at least you can build homes now. But, California is just absolutely bonkers when it comes to policies like this. And it's only going to cause the price of houses to go up more.
And what about Oregon? Voters are now about to consider approving the nation's very first universal basic income, where every person, regardless of age or income, will receive $1,600 of just free money. Now, of course,
look what happened when free ain't free because somebody's going to pay for it, and those are the people that are working for a living. Yeah, you and me.
I mean, it's just so ridiculous, and yet, I mean, I was reading some of the comments on YouTube. I mean, people are the people have been conditioned to just have their hands out. I love watching, like documentaries, animal documentaries, and I think about the bird, the little baby chicks who just have their mouth open and they just wait for mama bird to just shove whatever she wants down their throat. And that's how I'm beginning to see the American people, not all of us, but increasingly, this is not going away.
It's the cynicism of politicians that are essentially buying votes. They have to know, if they're smart people, that this is not good for the long-term economy in America. It's not good for Americans to get people just essentially weaned on government subsidies. We've seen welfare crisis where you have multi-generational families on welfare, and they lose their self-esteem. It's just not good for people if you're going to be given stuff as opposed to going out and earning your own living. And I just shake my head at the cynicism of some of the politicians that will promise all these free things to people if you just vote for me. It's outrageous. And, of course, as my book, Nowhere to Live, The Hidden Story of America's Housing Crisis, talks about, it's just government policies like that make things worse for everybody else.
I mean, it really does, and it really is destroying our nation. Jim, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it, sir.
My pleasure to be with you.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, guys, I'm getting ready to wrap this up. I think I have a couple of minutes if someone wants to call in. The number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. But that is it. That's the politics politics of our day. I mean, we are so royally screwed. I can't even. If your hope is in these nuts, I don't care if they're on the Republican side or the Democrat side. I mean, you must be a very miserable person right now because this is so tenuous. And I'm a realist. I believe in seeing things exactly as they are. I wished I could just pick up some pom-poms and go rah-rah all the way through November 5th. But that's just not me. And that's not true. And that's not living in truth. We are in a world of hurt. And unfortunately, Democrats have gotten their dream wish. I mean, it's like they had like that little magic wand and they have, turned men into women. They're driving up with vasectomy trucks and abortion trucks. It's just, there's no stigma. Men are having their testicles removed. I mean, everything you can wish for. The border's wide open. Sending money to Ukraine, hand over fist. I think we're like, I don't know how much. It's so crazy. We got wars, not even rumors anymore of wars. They've done everything they wanted to do. And none of our lives are any better. I know they keep promising. I know, Kamala spent her time as DA locking up black men. But this time, she's black. And she ain't going to do that no more. I know she was hell on wheels, a liberal on wheels in the Senate. And now she's in the White House for 3 years. Did none of the things she's promising to do. But this time is different. Just vote for her for president. And you will see if you're God help you if you're believing all of this. Look at our lives right now. I don't care if you're a raging liberal, progressive, whatever you want to label yourself, communist. None of our lives are better. And although you may think Donald Trump is the worst person on planet Earth and all these other things you want to call him, get out of your emotions, like I tell black people. Get out of your emotions and look at the hard facts of how we were living just 4 years ago and how we're all living right now. Oh, inflation is down by 3%. Dude, that's on top of 8%, on top of 10%, on top of 5%. So although it's down 3%, it's still up significantly, people. Do the math. Okay, that's me. I will see y'all on Monday. Blessings. Take care. I do believe. Play my song. I haven't seen this dream yet, but I'm chasing it. I'm going to meet it halfway if I keep on walking. Just keep walking. Just keep working. Keep talking. Find your influence. Call your children, even though they're mad at you. Get in front of them. Talk to them. Never give up. I have shown you guys, never give up. No matter what they say about you, no matter what they label you, fight. Like Trump said, fight for your country. Fight and get off the couch. Get off of social media alone and fight for your nation. I love all of you. I want the best for all of you. Blessings.